Well, the exercise is about to start here at the EC's regional office here in Sapem. All is set, and we have some persons here who are also ready to take part in the pilot voter registration exercise. But we're lucky we have with here the regional director himself for the Electoral Commission, Mr. Kwame Ofe. Mr. Kwame Amwa, he's going to run us through the process and what to expect today. So you're welcome to join us.
Thank you very much.
Great. Can you run us through the process and what is going to happen here today, the pilot exercise of the voter registration?
Good. Today we are here for the piloting of the new voter registration system that we are going to introduce in the next registration exercise. And so we want to demonstrate how everything is going to pan out on the registration period. So we have invited the political parties, the staff, and then the people in the community to come and then participate and then observe. So they'll go through the various processes. Okay. Yes, the forms will be completed. After the forms, then it will be keyed onto the kit. Okay. That's the registration system or the machine. And then we will print out the ID card. Okay. So
for our viewers to have a better appreciation of what we are talking about, I'll plead that you run us through maybe from this point and then show us how we're going to go through the process.
This is what we call Form 1A, okay, which will be the first form on which we'll capture the details of the applicant. That is your name, your age, and then the hometown, the district, and everything that Electoral Commission needs to capture regarding the voter details of the applicant. Okay. So this will be done manually. The officials are here. They will complete it. And then if you come, you must have your passport or you have your national ID. Okay. In the absence of any of this, then you will require someone to guarantee for you. Okay. And this is the guarantor's form. And the guarantor might be someone who have already registered. Okay. So you need two. And then when it is done for you, the guarantor has the opportunity to guarantee for 10 people. Yes, so when it's guaranteed for you, then it means you can go to the next stage of the process. Okay,
sure. So I'd want to mention that this is after all necessary COVID-19 protocol have been, observed. So we'll talk about the protocol later. Yeah. But let's continue with the process here. So after this stage, what next?
So when you come here, then the completed form will be passed on to the data entry clerk here, the one handling the kit here. So the person will input the details onto the system. Okay. So after which we will print out this form. Okay. So the form will be here, and this form will capture the personal details, which also has the voter ID card portion and then the receipt portion. Okay. Yeah. So the ID card portion. So this whole form will be transferred here to the laminator. Okay. And then the laminator will detach the ID card portion, laminate it, and then give it to the applicant together with the receipt portion. Okay. Then the applicant will just use the sanitizer and then move away. Okay,
great. So now tell us, who is qualified to take part in this piloting exercise? We know that the main exercise will start in the last week of June, we are told, and then end in the latter part of July. Sure. Who is qualified to take part in this pilot exercise?
Anyone who is a Ghanaian, and then also 18 years and above. Sure. And then you must also register within your locality or within your electoral area. And then there's no law forbidding you to register as a voter. Sure. And then you'll be a person of a sound mind. Sure. So this is the criteria which qualifies someone to register as a voter.
Okay. In this COVID-19, era, in this period of COVID-19, many have raised concerns about the registration exercise even taking place in the first place. We want to find out from you whether you have the required PPEs, yes, and what assurance can you give the Ghanaians or people living in this region that this exercise will be done and people who come here and your staff will be safe from the virus?
Good. First of all, let's get here. Okay. We have the Veronica bucket here. So the moment you come, you wash your hands, and then you dry it with tissue before you come and then join the queue. You know the markings we have made. Okay. There will be it's 1 meter apart.
Oh, okay.
You'll be 1 meter apart.
Okay, so this is your mark. The next person will be here.
So okay. Follow up to the table where you do the registration.
Okay.
So that you not be close to yes.
Okay.
And then when you get there too, there's a sanitizer there too, and then you use it before they start putting your detail. No, before then the thermometer gun is there. It will be pointed and then take your temperature. If your temperature is above the normal one, then we have a place where we will keep you, and then we inform the health authorities to come and handle you. But if your temperature is okay, then before you move on to the process.
Okay. This is beautiful, social distancing, voters registration exercise. But how sure are you that these directives, when you deploy to the various polling stations where sometimes supervision will become difficult, these protocols will be adhered to?
The staff that have been engaged, definitely there will be 1 or 2 who will be free at a point in time to ensure that these protocols are fully observed. Because you have 2 registration officers. When one is attending to the applicant on the table, the one can also go and check whether these things are being observed. Yes.
So we have your word that your staff and then the general, public who come will be safe?
Sure. We want to ensure that we all observe it because health is important. And Electoral Commission is a law-abiding institution, so we also ensure that people observe it. If we don't observe it, it will be difficult for us to serve you, and we expect the members of the public to cooperate and support EC so that together we can have a successful exercise.
Okay. Finally, what is the purpose of the pilot, exercise? What opportunity does it give?
The piloting is for us to test the equipment we are going to use, and then also the readiness of the official that we have trained. So we are going to demonstrate what is going to pan out on the registration period today and tomorrow. Okay.
So, thank you very much. We're most grateful for your time, Director, for speaking to us and explaining all these things to us. We're very grateful. Okay, so you just heard from the Regional Director, the Greater Accra Regional Director of the Electoral Commission, Kwame Amwa, explaining the various procedure that you need to go through here before you register. Remember, this is the pilot exercise. The main exercise would commence in the last week of June. But let's speak to some of the people here who are coming to register. You know, the debate about whether this registration exercise is even important in the first place. Some are saying, like, look, let's use the old register. We are in COVID-19 period. Why do you want to risk our lives? Let's find out from the people what they think about this exercise. Sir, you're welcome to join us.
Thank you.
Great. You are here to take part in the pilot exercise. What do you make of the voter registration exercise? What do you make of assertions out there that we are in coronavirus times? This one can wait.
I personally don't have a problem with it because if the institution is guaranteeing social distancing and then the necessary equipment for the process to go on, why not?
Okay. So you don't agree with assertions that we should use the old voters register?
Anyway, that's their view, so they are entitled to their views. But for me, I have no problem.
Okay. It's a civic duty. Are you voting in 2020?
Yes, please.
You are voting in 2020? Yes, I am. Okay. So what are you coming with? A passport or guarantor?
I'm coming with a guarantor.
With a guarantor? Because you don't have the Ghana card and you don't have a passport?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
So what do you make of that as well? That you can only use your Ghana card or your passport, else you have to rely on a guarantor. Assuming you didn't have a guarantor, what would you have done?
That's the difficult aspect because, like we are aware, it's not everybody who has gotten the national card, and there's not everybody who has a passport. So I think probably that side should be considered because it's going to be very difficult for a lot of people.
Okay. So what's your name again?
Oscar.
Oscar. Okay.
Nyako.
Oscar Nyako. Thanks so much. Let me speak to your friend. Chief, you're welcome to join.
Thank you.
Okay. You're here so early. What's your take that this exercise we could have held on to this exercise and not do it now when we have coronavirus?
I believe there is a constitutional legal institute to take such decisions, and if the EC deems it fit to do it, I don't have anything to say about that.
So you are here because you are doing it. If you are not doing it, you will not be here.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Would you be voting in December?
Sure, I'll vote.
Okay. You risk it to vote in December, or you are sure that with the protocol put in place, it's safe to do?
If the safety protocols are there and we are told they will follow it, I will go ahead and then vote.
Okay. Sure. What's your name again?
Kenneth Kafui.
Okay. So wait, finally, are you using a Ghana card, a passport, or a grant?
I have a Ghana card.
You have a Ghana card. Lucky you. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Okay, so let's now speak to the police officer. Police officers are here to ensure that this is done with all the protocol respected. And all social distancing. They are here to make sure that there's decorum here. He agreed to speak to us earlier, but I think he just changed his mind on speaking to us. But they are here. We've seen some police officers here, about 3 of them, strategically positioned here. I don't know if you can see the man under the tree. They arrived here some minutes ago, and they'll be making sure that there's decorum here at this registration center, the pilot registration center for the voters register here at the EC's offices at Sappeman.
Well, Maxwell, it looks like a very interesting occurrence there. But the people there, were they invited, or are they people who just randomly walked into the Electoral Commission headquarters?
Well, you're told that some of them walked in here by themselves. They were not invited by the Electoral Commission to take part in this exercise. But I've seen some members of staff too here who would also be taking part, in the exercise to test the machines that we have here at Sappeman. So not all of them were invited here. Some of them willingly just walked in here to take part in the pilot's exercise of the voters registration.
Thank you. Your mask, though, is covering your eyes. So yeah, I'm sure you want to take care of it. Maxwell Agbagba there coming to us from a...
I know.
From a pilot center. Okay, so the National Service, I must remind you, the scheme has begun processing prospective National Service personnel for deployment for various sectors across the country. MMDAs, ministries, departments and agencies and education institutions, as well as hospitals, security agencies and private organizations, those interested in hosting service personnel for 2020-2021 service year, are expected to put in a formal request to the Secretariat. User agencies should log on to the NSS website to submit their request for the personnel. Also, attach names, email addresses and contact numbers of 2 officials to this request. Agencies with special needs should contact the headquarters of the Secretariat for discussions. And request must reach the NSS head office by 30th of this month, 2020. For further inquiries, you can visit www.nss.gov.gh. National Service, service to the nation. This is still the AM show. I'm Gifty Andopi. I'm here with Roland Walker. We'll take a very quick break. When we return, we're doing showbiz.